Black travelers often face unique challenges, including discrimination and safety concerns in some destinations, while others offer enriching and supportive cultural experiences. Understanding these contrasts is crucial for making informed travel decisions. Welcome to Globe Threads. Today, we're discussing an important topic: the top 10 countries that pose serious challenges for Black travelers. From subtle biases, like being followed in stores, to outright hostility, such as verbal harassment, certain places can make traveling particularly challenging. While many dream of exploring new cultures, the reality for Black travelers can sometimes be different. We're not just talking about awkward stares, we're addressing serious racial tensions, anti-Black sentiment, and even safety concerns due to past incidents of violence, harassment, or discriminatory laws. If you're curious about which countries may present significant challenges or where Black travelers have faced notable racism, we're here to shed light on those destinations. This information is crucial for staying safe and making informed choices about your travels. This list may truly influence your travel plans, so stay tuned for these important insights. If you find this content helpful, remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more travel insights. Number 1. Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is known for its wealth, rich history, and impressive cultural landmarks, offering a unique experience for travelers. However, for Black travelers, the experience can be challenging. Around 70% of labor disputes in the country involve Black workers, many from African nations who are part of the large migrant labor force. The kingdom has faced widespread criticism from organizations like Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International for its treatment of Black laborers, who often endure harsh working conditions and racial discrimination. Saudi Arabia's strict cultural laws make it difficult for many foreigners to adjust, but for Black travelers, the situation can be even more uncomfortable. Racial bias in Saudi Arabia affects not only migrant workers, but also Black visitors and expatriates, who frequently encounter subtle and sometimes overt prejudice. Many Black travelers report being ignored by service staff, receiving inferior treatment in restaurants and hotels, or facing intrusive questions about their backgrounds. Suspicion or even hostility in public spaces can make everyday activities like shopping or dining out feel challenging. Historically, racial hierarchies in the region were shaped by the Trans-Saharan and Indian Ocean slave trades, which brought many African slaves to the Arabian Peninsula and influenced long-standing cultural norms. While there has been progress, such as reforms aimed at improving labor rights and easing social restrictions, systemic issues persist, making Saudi Arabia a challenging destination for Black travelers. If you're planning a trip to Saudi Arabia, it's best to prepare for these challenges and be aware that it may not be the most welcoming place for Black visitors. Number 2. Japan. Japan offers cutting-edge technology, delicious cuisine, breathtaking cherry blossoms, and rich cultural heritage, but embracing racial diversity remains a significant challenge for Black travelers. With only 2% of the population being non-Japanese, minority groups struggle for acceptance, and 45% of Black expatriates report experiencing racial bias. This bias can manifest in various ways, from being stared at on public transportation to feeling excluded in social settings. Some Black travelers report being ignored during group activities or receiving uncomfortable stares in restaurants. These subtle forms of exclusion can limit social interactions and lead to a sense of isolation in both personal and professional environments. The lack of racial diversity makes it challenging for Black travelers to feel truly welcomed. The media in Japan also plays a role, with negative stereotypes about Black people still prevalent in television shows and advertisements, reinforcing harmful views. Blackface is still occasionally used, often due to a lack of understanding of its offensive history, which can be a jarring experience for visitors. Japan has historically been largely homogeneous, and although it is opening up to foreign influences, acceptance of racial diversity is still slow. Positive signs of progress include multicultural festivals, increased international educational exchanges, and government efforts to attract foreign workers. For Black travelers, however, microaggressions and occasional overt racism can still be part of the experience, whether shopping, dining, or visiting tourist attractions. For example, some travelers have reported being followed by store security or receiving dismissive service in restaurants. While Japan's technological advancements, iconic landmarks, and cultural allure are tempting, the reality of racial bias and lack of diversity makes it one of the top 10 countries where Black travelers might not feel entirely welcomed. If you're planning a trip be prepared to navigate more than just the language barrier. Connecting with online communities like Black Travel Japan early in your travel planning, joining local expat groups, and familiarizing yourself with cultural norms in advance can provide proactive support and make your experience more comfortable. As always, approach with an open mind and perhaps a bit of extra patience. Number 3. India. India offers vibrant culture, rich history, and iconic landmarks like the Taj Mahal. But for Black travelers, these attractions come with unique challenges. Some Black travelers have found positive experiences, particularly in major cities like Mumbai and Delhi, where people are more accustomed to diversity. However, India also presents challenges for Black visitors, including frequent racial discrimination, unwelcoming stares, and comments that can make their stay uncomfortable. Colorism runs deep in India, with around 62% of Black expatriates reporting experiences of racial discrimination. These biases, rooted in colonial history, continue to impact Black travelers today. Whether walking through bustling markets or visiting famous landmarks, Black travelers often attract attention from locals who may have never encountered a Black person before, leading to curious glances and questions. Some travelers have shared experiences of being asked to pose for photos, which can feel uncomfortable and intrusive. Beyond the stares and comments, more serious issues include being treated with suspicion or denied service in some establishments due to skin color. While India's diverse culture is a draw for many, there are positive aspects worth exploring, particularly in more diverse and cosmopolitan areas. Activists and organizations in India are working to combat biases, promoting greater awareness and inclusivity. For Black travelers, however, the struggle to accept darker skin can still present challenges. If you're considering a trip to India, it's important to be aware of these challenges and approach your journey with an open mind and perhaps a thick skin. Number 4. South Korea. South Korea offers vibrant attractions like K-pop, cutting-edge technology, and rich cultural heritage. But for Black travelers, these come with unique challenges. Some Black travelers have had positive experiences, especially in areas where younger generations are more accustomed to diversity, such as Itaewon in Seoul, which is known for its inclusive atmosphere. However, navigating this highly homogeneous society can feel challenging for Black travelers, as blending in is often difficult. Standing out as a foreigner is already challenging in South Korea, but being Black adds an extra layer of difficulty. Approximately 55% of Black expatriates report experiencing discrimination. From being turned away by taxis to enduring endless stares, many Black travelers feel out of place. Some have shared experiences of waiting much longer for a taxi, only to see drivers pass by without stopping, or being refused service based solely on their appearance. South Korean media has a history of negatively portraying Black people, using outdated stereotypes that perpetuate harmful narratives. These portrayals contribute to local prejudices, making everyday interactions awkward or unwelcoming. Historically, South Korea's lack of racial diversity meant that foreigners, particularly Black individuals, were a rare sight. While South Korea is more open to global influences today, old attitudes still persist. Initiatives like diversity education programs in schools and campaigns promoting inclusivity are making a difference, but change is slow. Black travelers frequently report that even simple activities like grocery shopping or visiting tourist attractions can feel isolating, as locals may stare or avoid interaction altogether. While South Korea has much to offer, from its rich culture to vibrant nightlife, racial biases and cultural misunderstandings can create challenges for Black travelers. If you're planning a trip to South Korea, prepare for a mix of excitement and frustration. Connecting with local expat communities or online groups early in the planning process can provide valuable support. There are also signs of progress, with younger generations becoming more open-minded, and efforts to increase cultural awareness gradually taking root. As always, pack your sense of humor, as it will certainly come in handy. Number 5. Israel. Israel offers rich history and religious significance, but also presents complex racial dynamics that create challenges for Black travelers, particularly African immigrants. While some Black travelers have enjoyed vibrant cultural experiences and found welcoming communities in diverse areas like Tel Aviv, others face significant difficulties due to historical tensions, socio-political factors, and public attitudes towards immigration. In 2023, racial incidents targeting African immigrants rose by 30%, highlighting ongoing challenges. Reports of harassment in public spaces and discriminatory treatment by landlords are common. Anti-immigrant sentiment and political rhetoric have fueled public hostility, making it particularly difficult for black travelers to feel welcomed. For many, Israel can feel unwelcoming as they navigate a society where they are often viewed with suspicion. Some travelers report being questioned by security multiple times in a single day, adding to the feeling of exclusion. Discrimination in Israel affects not only daily interactions, but also access to housing, employment, and public services. Many African immigrants report being overlooked for job opportunities despite being qualified, and securing housing can be an ongoing struggle due to discriminatory practices. Tensions between different ethnic groups in Israel have made it particularly challenging for black immigrants. Casual interactions can feel uncomfortable, with black visitors often receiving stares or feeling unwelcome. Some travelers have shared experiences of being repeatedly denied lodging, making them feel marginalized. Despite these challenges, proactive efforts by local communities and activists are promoting inclusivity and supporting diversity, offering hope for positive change. Israel's rich culture and historical significance are undeniable, but for black travelers, racial biases and cultural tensions can make it a difficult destination. If you're considering a trip to Israel, be prepared for potential challenges and connect with local expat groups early in the planning process for support and preparation. And if you're enjoying this list, be sure to like and subscribe to Globe Threads for more travel insights. We're only halfway through. Stay tuned for more eye-opening information on countries that may present unexpected challenges for black travelers. Number 6. Ukraine. Ukraine offers rich cultural heritage, iconic landmarks like St. Sophia's Cathedral in Kyiv, and stunning landscapes, but struggles with racial tolerance, which can make it challenging for black travelers. Some black travelers have had positive experiences, particularly in tourist-friendly areas like Kyiv and Lviv. However, Ukraine ranks among the least racially tolerant countries in Europe, creating challenges for many visitors. African students have reported being denied access to public transportation, highlighting the discrimination they face. A 2019 survey found that over 40% of respondents expressed negative attitudes towards people of African descent, contributing to an unwelcoming atmosphere for black travelers. From walking down the street to accessing public transportation, black people in Ukraine may face hostile treatment, including verbal abuse or being ignored by service staff. The country's homogeneity and limited exposure to different cultures have contributed to its reputation as a difficult place for minorities, including black travelers. While Ukraine offers plenty in terms of history and architecture, these experiences can be overshadowed by frequent discrimination. Connecting with local expat communities early in the planning process or researching safe areas in advance can help navigate these difficulties effectively. The racism, both subtle and blatant, is a key reason Ukraine ranks on our list of the top 10 countries where black travelers may feel unwelcome. If you decide to visit, be prepared for these challenges and approach the experience with caution. Number 7. Greece. Greece offers stunning ancient ruins, beautiful islands, and delicious cuisine. But for black travelers, these attractions can come with significant challenges. While some black travelers have enjoyed vibrant cultural activities and found welcoming locals in tourist areas like Santorini, it's not all sunshine and history. Since 2015, racial tensions in Greece have escalated, particularly impacting African migrants. Many report facing hostility, especially in areas outside the main tourist spots. While popular areas in Athens may feel safe, neighborhoods like Omonia, parts of Piraeus, and less tourist-heavy places can present challenges for black travelers. Incidents of verbal abuse and physical confrontations have increased, highlighting ongoing challenges. Contributing factors include economic struggles, strained public resources, and political narratives portraying migrants as a burden, fueling xenophobic attitudes. These challenges can make black travelers feel cautious when exploring parts of Greece. However, there are still positive experiences to be had, particularly in more tourist-friendly areas. For example, some travelers have shared moments of being welcomed into local festivals, which made them feel included. Greece's incredible beauty, historical marvels, and vibrant culture are undeniable, but racial biases and challenges regarding diversity can make it difficult for black travelers. If you're planning a visit, it's best to stick to the well-trodden tourist paths or be prepared for possible negative experiences. Connecting with local expat communities and researching in advance can help navigate these challenges more effectively. Number 8. Italy. Italy offers pizza, pasta, incredible art, and renowned landmarks like the Colosseum and the Leaning Tower of Pisa. But for black travelers, it may come with significant challenges. While many black travelers have had positive experiences, especially in tourist-friendly cities like Rome and Florence, they have also encountered prevalent racial biases and discriminatory behaviors. Despite Italy's rich history and cultural allure, racially motivated crimes have risen by 35%, with African immigrants being the primary targets. This alarming trend highlights a growing problem with racism, making Italy a place that black travelers might want to approach with caution if safety is a priority. Prejudice isn't confined to immigrants. Black travelers often face similar discrimination, feeling unwelcome in public spaces, whether in restaurants or while shopping. Even in iconic spots like the Colosseum or the canals of Venice, black visitors have experienced uncomfortable moments, from microaggressions to outright hostility. Italy's racial tensions are influenced by political rhetoric and a history of immigration issues. Over the years, a significant number of African immigrants have settled in Italy, contributing to a rise in xenophobia and racial discrimination. Unfortunately, these issues extend beyond immigrants and impact black tourists as well. While Italy offers incredible beauty, art, and history, the rise in racial incidents makes it a country that black travelers may want to approach with caution. Connecting with local expat groups early in the planning process, or researching areas known to be more welcoming, can help navigate these challenges. If you're planning a trip, be sure to pack your sense of adventure and perhaps a little extra patience, as you may face more than just the typical tourist crowds. Number 9. China. China's rapid economic growth and projects like the Belt and Road Initiative showcase its global influence. Yet, black travelers in China face unique challenges. Major cities like Beijing and Shanghai, with their diverse international presence, can offer a more welcoming environment. For instance, some black travelers have found Beijing's international districts to be more inclusive. However, deep-seated racial biases persist across the country, often rooted in historical isolation and limited exposure to different cultures. A lack of significant immigration and limited representation of non-Asian ethnicities in Chinese media contribute to these biases. African expatriates and black visitors frequently report facing discriminatory behavior, from constant stares to more troubling harassment. A 2018 survey found that over 60% of black respondents experienced racial profiling or discrimination in China. Being stared at or treated as a spectacle is a common experience, stemming from cultural misunderstandings, limited exposure to diversity, and media stereotypes. Beijing and Shanghai promote cultural diversity, but China remains largely homogeneous, especially outside these urban centers. In these international cities, some black travelers report more positive interactions, particularly in tourist-friendly areas. However, outside these cities, black travelers often face stereotypes and suspicion, with some denied service or treated with open hostility, especially in rural areas. Despite China's efforts to foster international relations, especially with African nations, these diplomatic connections contrast sharply with the reality faced by black travelers, as they have not translated into everyday social acceptance. As a result, many black travelers feel uncomfortable and unwelcome. Whether admiring the Great Wall or exploring Shanghai, the cultural gap and lack of diversity can make China a challenging destination for black visitors. It's no surprise that China is among the top 10 countries where black travelers might not feel welcomed. If you're heading there, be prepared for more than just culture shock. You may receive more attention than you'd like. Number 10. Russia. Finally, we arrive at Russia. Russia, with its rich cultural history and iconic landmarks like the Kremlin and Red Square, offers travelers a chance to explore breathtaking sights. However, for black travelers, the experience can be marred by significant challenges. While some have had positive encounters in tourist-friendly areas like Moscow's city center, the overall racial climate can be difficult to navigate. Many black travelers report feeling unwelcome in Russia, with experiences ranging from racial slurs and harassment to physical violence. For instance, one African student in Moscow shared how they were followed and verbally harassed while using public transportation, highlighting the unease many black visitors face. A 2019 survey found that racial discrimination against black people is widespread, particularly in major cities like Moscow and St. Petersburg. While larger cities may offer more diverse and tourist-friendly spaces, smaller towns, where racial diversity is rare, can be even more challenging. In these areas, black travelers often face overt hostility, fueled by xenophobic nationalist groups with significant influence. These groups contribute to an intimidating atmosphere, with racially motivated attacks, especially against African students, being reported more frequently. Despite these challenges, in well-populated areas and tourist hubs, some travelers have had more positive experiences. For example, one visitor shared how they felt welcomed after receiving friendly assistance at a market in St. Petersburg. While Russia is renowned for its art, literature, and cultural landmarks, the systemic racial tensions and occasional violence make it a difficult destination for Black travelers. The beauty of sites like the Hermitage Museum or the Trans-Siberian Railway can quickly lose their charm when overshadowed by the underlying social issues. If you're planning to visit, it's important to approach Russia with caution. Be prepared for potential racial incidents and take steps to ensure your safety. Connect with local expat communities, research safe accommodations, and avoid isolated areas. Staying in popular, well-reviewed neighborhoods and traveling with a trusted guide can help you navigate the complexities of this cultural landscape more safely. And there you have it, the top 10 countries where Black people may not feel welcomed. While every travel experience is unique, it's important to be aware of the challenges Black travelers may face in certain parts of the world. Remember, this video isn't meant to discourage travel, but to prepare and inform. Understanding where difficulties might arise helps you better navigate your journey and make safer, more informed choices. If you found this video helpful or eye-opening, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more travel insights from Globe Threads. And if you've had personal experiences in any of these countries or have tips for fellow travelers, drop them in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and as always, safe travels.